Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, and Dennis Dick with you this morning. A lot of news to discuss. We were just caught off guard going through the Dick's Sporting Goods press release. Surprised to see them throw Under Armour under the bus. So we're going to talk about that. We have earnings. TLRY, you just can't fade these pod stocks, and so they had earnings, and the stock is popping this morning. We're going to talk about that. Very interesting analyst activity this morning as well in Amazon, Google, and Square. Amazon also had some other news in which they are punishing ROKU for this morning. Joel, what happened in the market overnight?
We're kind of quiet here, Spencer. We have a little over a 6-point range. We have a potential double top. If you guys had a nickel for every time I said that, you'll all be rich. Yesterday's high, 2906.25. The current high, 2905 even. So that is your bogey. That is your target on the upside. On the downside, two closes, 98.5, and the old-time closing high at 99.5. Our low just in that area at 98.75. Tight range yesterday, so we'll see if the close can hold there. Crude, very interesting on the daily charts here. You have four highs right at the 69.20 area, knocking on the door again here. Recent high that moves been 69.31, but could get that leap to 70 today if we can finally clear 69.31 and holding over 69 bucks right now. Gold in the red by 6.10 at 1208.30. Silver in the red by 17 cents at 14.73. And Bitcoin down a tad, but still over 7,000. Trading range in Bitcoin, 6,000 to 8,000. Triple D, you're manning the boards, the controls there. How you doing today?
Doing okay. Lots of interesting news here last night and this morning. Some of these earnings reports with Spencer Israel just hinted on. I don't think I've seen this in a long time. It's interesting. You look at, and I was like, why is Under Armour getting hit? And then you look at the Dick's Sporting Goods press release on their earnings, and the explanation is right in there. Tell us about this, Spencer, because like you said on the preview of the show, Dick's Sporting Goods throwing Under Armour under the bus.
Yeah, well, all was kind of well. You know, the report came out and the numbers were there, and that was that. And then, like, you were the one that said, Under Armour, what's going on here? And so in the press release, they actually singled out Under Armour, significant declines in Under Armour sales resulting from Under Armour's decision to expand their distribution channels. So throwing Under Armour under the bus in their press release. They say they delivered year-to-date, this is Dick's, delivered year-to-date double-digit growth in e-commerce, private brands, and athletic apparel, excluding Under Armour.
They basically blamed Under Armour for their crappy quarter.
Yeah. Yep.
Under Armour's getting hit on this. So UAA is down 3% here in the pre-market. They didn't even report anything, but it didn't matter because Dick's threw them right under the bus here. So that's interesting. Dick's is getting hit here too. It is down to the tune of 8%. I mean, we saw this with Hibbett Sports.
Yep.
Hibbett. It's still going down, Hibbett. It can't catch a bid. I just brought up the chart there. That day it went down to 23, now $19. So continuing to leak here. So in that regard here, I'm not buying the Dick's pullback here because I'm scared. Even though we got some nice support here in the 33 area, I saw what happened to Hibbett Ribbit, and it is not good news over there. So following the lead from that, I think I'll lay off trying to buy the dip in DKS.
I'll give you the Dick's numbers first. Q2 EPS on Dick's 96 cents versus $1.06 estimate. Sales 2.17 versus $2.24 billion. So missing on both the Q2 numbers. The guidance, fiscal year EPS guidance for the year coming in line, but the miss is the headline this morning.
All right, they slammed Dick's here. Well under the low of the move. I'll give you the pre-market low, 31.08. Currently trading at 33.45. that 3108 may have been an overreaction here. Former lows of the move come in right at the $33 level. That's 50 cents away. That's minor support here. So keep an eye at 33 for potential buyers. And then the low of the move from the pre-market is 3108. That Hibbett, it just looks terrible. So if you're going to follow that trend, HIBB, I mean, it made that earnings day low and just kept on going. So
yeah.
Maybe be buying if you're short out there. We did catch the Under Armour live on the pre-market show here. Which one's more heavily traded, Dennis?
They're both pretty good. You can go to either of them if you want.
I do
UA and UAA both have a pretty good market usually. So UAA trade down 2.96%, rate offered at the last, so it doesn't look like it wants to bounce at all. UA is offered 1875, which is lower than the last 1878. So both these stocks trade down 3% in the pre-market, not looking lively.
No, at 2032, looking on the dailies, $20, maybe if they want to hit this under 20.
On the UAA.
Yes, yep. You had a low on
the UAA, that would be up.
Yeah.
Why? I hate that they have two listings, but anyways, I digress. Continue.
At 1989 and I see four lows in the middle 19 handle. So if you're looking for a short, perhaps potential cover, low of the move right there too was 1890. So right in that territory for UAA, and then for UA, still offered a lower. Boom, pre-market low is 1860, just kind of hanging out there. Lower 18s, 1811 was your low on August 6th. But, this is, one thing that, what the day said, it's a pretty unusual circumstance to get called out like that. So I don't know if I'd be shorting it the whole, but if I was short, maybe look to bring it in a little bit.
Also reporting earnings there. Let's just continue on with the ones from this morning here. American Eagle Outfitters just reported right at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, and they are disappointing the street. And the stock is getting hit here too. So a little bit of a retail shellacking here this morning. Last night was the opposite story, which we'll get to in a second. But AEO trade down 7% here. Spencer Israel. Obviously, they didn't do very well, but how did they do?
Yeah, the headline numbers are mixed. Q2 EPS was a beat by 3 cents, 34 versus 31 cents. Sales, 965 versus 938 million. So they beat on the Q2 numbers, but the Q3 EPS guidance was light. 45 to 47 cents is the range they gave. 49 cents was the estimate.
It's so scary. These retailers just want to go all over the place. You get some instances like, and you got me in Tiffany's yesterday, Joel, where the stocks, fade and give it all back. And then other instances, they gap and go. So Tiffany's doing the exact opposite of what it did last time. It makes me think on AEO, I don't even know. These are hard to trade. Is it going to bounce here? Potentially. But is it going to continue to fall? Potentially. So I'm sitting on my hands here. It's called the SOH trade. Sit on hands and make no moves.
Yeah, nice run up and giving back at least half of that gain here. That would have been in the $26 handle. Trading too close to the pre-market low for me to call a bottom. It was at $24.60. You do have a pair of lows just underneath that. So I like $24.50 if they continue. You got to get through that pre-market low. Some decent volume trading in this, but man, you have that run up since July, and then in like a couple days, street kind of leaning the right way ahead of this report, Dennis. 4 days ago, you traded nearly $30, and now you're in the mid 25 handle.
And let's just finish it off with Express from this morning, EXPR. This went for a wild ride last night, and I actually was riding this. It looked like somebody just wanted out last night, and I was like, oh, what the hell? I'll take a flyer and just short it. And they came, and it was $9.99, and all of a sudden, they just decided to sell 15,000 shares, basically right after hours last night. And they knocked it all the way down to 905. I covered my 905 and went long. So I had a pretty good after hours with Express last night because I'll take a 10% lead on anything. I don't know who the hell is selling something 10% down ahead of a report. I mean, even if they miss, is it going to fall 10%? So anyway, so I happily bought 905 last night. I actually was able to get out last night at 994, so I didn't even have to take it through the report. Wish I would have in hindsight, but I wasn't trying to gamble. If I can get out ahead of the report and take a quick 90 cents, 10% from something, I'll do it all day. That is very rare, though, folks. I don't just think you can get after hours and pick up something 10% before the report. You don't see that very often.
Well, we're trading up, so I'm just going to talk about the resistance up 76 cents at 10.75. You did sneak over $11, 11.35 off the number. I'm just looking at this high that you had last week at 10.90. So we are trading near resistance. I say 10.90 to 11. You know, you get this thing going. 10.90 has been the recent high of the move, but over 11, even on the monthly charts here, you got a breakout. But you certainly want to see that follow through off the open.
My kid's excited in the background, so if you hear him, I don't know what's
going on
there. I don't know. But anyways, it's like that video. Remember what was the video? And the kid all of a sudden just moseys on in there on CNN in the background. I'm waiting for that to happen. The door barge open and say, "Daddy."
Well, I think maybe he's excited about TLRY.
He might be. Let's go to TLRY. Yeah, Alder Spencer. Nice save.
Yeah, he might be. TLRY reporting yesterday after the close. So the Q2 EPS was a miss. That doesn't really matter. 17-cent loss versus a 9-cent loss estimate. Sales 9.7 versus $9 million. But they report, I mean, they're up. It's up, and you can't do anything about it. The CFO said on the conference call they expect stronger international cannabis medical sales in the second half of the year. Yeah, I mean, revenue is up 95% on a year-over-year basis.
Yeah, but what was the revenue number? What was the overall revenue number?
Yeah, $9 million, $9.7 million.
So it's up 95% to $9 million. So this company that just had revenue of $9 million is a market cap of $5 billion. Holy cow, we're back to like 1999 all over again. Party like it's 1999, though. Things stayed hot 1998, 1999 for a little while. I don't know where this bubble burst, but it's not bursting anytime. It doesn't appear to be bursting here this morning because it's up another 17%. I've tried to play the short side on this a couple of times, been wrong, and that's why I have to have tight stops. I tried at 52, see it stopped out at 53. I mean, you just gotta have stops when you're shorting stocks. And you know what? I'm just gonna let it go. I mean, this thing is just a high flyer. Eventually, I think the stock is lower, but holy cow, it's so hot right now. And did the numbers even really matter? I mean, this is in play potentially with Diageo. At least that's what the market thinks. So ever since that Diageo headline 3 days ago, all the pot stocks have just been taking off. And the Diageo headline was that it was broken. I don't know who broke it. Maybe it was Reuters was saying that they were sniffing around, maybe going to try to do the same thing as Constellation Brands did. And every pot stock has been hot ever since.
Let's see. We'll give you a pre-market high in here. It's over $62. We hit a pre-market high. Oh, it's over $63. It's $63.50. They're throwing some good volume around. I am just going to make a prediction here, and no, not a trading recommendation or anything. If Diageo does come in, it's going to be under this current price of $60. Like they'll come in and maybe do something.
Well, it's not even going to be a takeover, Joel. It's going to be the same thing. They're just going to put an investment into it. I mean, That was great for CGC though. Like you could argue that CGC might not even be like $43 if it wasn't an investment, or 45 now this morning. They could have maybe did a flat out takeover 35 or 40. So, I mean, just putting that investment money into it was, what the market wanted to see. And that's what kickstarted it all. I mean, it all started with Constellation Brands. So pot stocks were in hell. They had been going down, making new lows. That headline basically came out of nowhere, the Constellation Brands headline 2 weeks ago. And every pot stock has basically doubled since. So I've never made money chasing stocks. By all means, I always say, if you make money chasing stocks, do what you got to do. I will tell you, I've never made money chasing stocks. I've always been run over. I've been trading 20 years professionally here, and that's why when stocks are gone this far, I just let it go. I mean, it's not my cup of tea to trade these high flyers either. We've been talking about them a lot lately because everybody seems to like talking about them. But, just to go back on the tangent here, I've always made my money trading more boring stocks, not these high flyers, because they're hard to trade. I mean, the wild swings, you can lose 20% in like 10 minutes on these things. So, and even in this, recent ups, swing here, you can say, oh, if I would have just held. But I mean, this thing got to $58 2 days ago, got down to $49 yesterday. That's a quiet 20% fall that you just all of a sudden lose. So even in this, upswing of 100%, there's been some drawdowns of like 20% in there very quickly. So you've got to have, real conviction there to be holding stuff that's moving 20% against you, because obviously not always going to be perfect. I mean, it would have been nice, when the Constellation Brands thing came out. I tried to buy TLRY that morning. It opened up like $3 and it did come. I think it did actually come. No, it didn't. It never even gave you a shot. It opened up $3 the next morning and ran another 4 or something. So anyways, the train is well left the station here. I don't know where it stops.
Right. And you notice how Left hasn't. Did he come out on TLRY? Did he say something about that a couple of weeks ago? I mean, that's usually, but his influence has been waning as well.
Who's
that?
Left.
Did he ever come out and say anything?
I don't know if he said, did he say something on TLRY? He's been trying to knock NVIDIA down to no avail.
He did. He said that they were, quote, next in line in the surging sector. He put a... Well, this is
bullish.
He put a $45 price target on it. Well, that is out through the roof there, but
45 out of trade 61. But so that mean he shorts it now?
Well, this was back before. This was like 2 weeks ago, so it was not. I think when this happened, what was TLRY when he said this? TLRY was like.
Oh, so that's a good call then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What was it? This is on August 15th. He said this. So
August 5th, 25 to under $30.
Yeah,
it had a 5-point bump that day.
But I don't think
24 to quarter to 29.
He kickstarted her. It's still going. So he's making some good calls too. I mean, I say, Andrew Left influential, obviously, but he makes some damn good calls too. When he gets bearish on something, I don't usually like owning it. So, NVIDIA, maybe it's a different case. That thing's loved by everybody. He picked on a really tough stock there, but when he gets on these smaller stocks, he moves them.
All right. Quick news here for Jar Jar, a very patient. What's the news on GKOS? Is that getting taken over or something? I mean,
I do not follow the story, but it's up to 38%.
Yeah, it's Glaukos Corp. Someone's got to be buying them. Spencer, do you have anything on them?
GKOS, something's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been a steady climb there, though. I mean, if you, Dennis, you talk about people being right in the, in the pre-market,
somebody was right.
Wrong. Man, someone was just a step up buyer, and they just pushed this thing. So I don't know. Without knowing what the news is on it here,
it's Elcon. I'm trying to read this headline, but I don't know.
I see that headline.
Glauco's up 18%. It's this from Seeking Alpha article. Elcon voluntarily withdrawal of rival eye stent. So it sounds like a competitor. And it sounds like
a competitor withdrew their product.
Okay.
There you go. It's a huge pop, man. That sounds like a windfall to me. I don't know. I don't follow the story close enough, so maybe this is huge for them. At least the market thinks it is, but up 38%. I'd ring the register.
What was your target, Jar Jar? That's what I would ask you if you had an upside target.
Is he a Star Wars fan?
Jar Jar?
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks. Come on, you never watched Star Wars. Spencer knew. Spencer would know. Remember Jar Jar Binks? That was one of the worst characters Star Wars ever created. I think just Jar Jar Binks. They were trying to add humor to it, and it was just like I don't know. Anyways, it was from episode 1, which was the worst one too. But anyways, it's a cool name though, Jar Jar. We like your name. Just bad character.
Real quick here, Qualcomm, we're getting asked about that in the chat. Dennis, resistance on it. I mean,
I'm gonna sell this thing pretty soon if it keeps going like this. This thing's up. Qualcomm is in dead money. In 1 month here, it's went from $57 now to $70. So it kept going. We talked about it yesterday on the show, saying that those prices often act like a floor. It did. $67.50. It tried to get down there, got under 68, and then just turned around and kept rallying. It got almost to $71 or 70.5 here. It's at a certain point in time, 80 was my long-term target, but holy cow, that's a big move in 1 month. So anyways, I don't think I'd be chasing it here now. I think it needs to come in a bit.
Before the deal fell apart here, I mean, it never, when that AVGO deal was out there, they never gave it a lot of love at all. Man, is this correct? We haven't been in $70 handle on this issue since October of 2016, and you had a 71.62 high in there. But first things first, you got to take out Friday's high. Also would love to see a close above $70 as well. So good call by you. Good call by Sean on that one. Moving nicely here. And just one more stock. I know I'm digressing. I'm just trying to get these stocks.
Fine, we can digress. We do that from time to time on the show.
Well, when people come into the Google YouTube chat, I mean, and they ask about a stock and I don't recognize the name, I think, why not? And
we like talking. I like bringing up stocks I don't know because I get new trading ideas. I can't follow all 6,000 companies or however many's listed there. So I love new stocks, guys. So continue with the tickers. We can have a ticker show.
Okay, this is you're not gonna like this one. This one's JP Morgan.
Not dry ships, is it?
No, just JP Morgan.
Oh yeah, well, I don't like JP. I don't like you for JP Morgan. When I was gonna buy it at $30, I'll never forgive you for that. But anyway,
jeez, he does.
I know every time we bring up JP Morgan, I have to yell at you for that.
I mean, it's been sleepy. It's up near all-time highs. Two highs at the 117 handle. 03 and 28, so maybe you got a seller there, but had a pullback off the all-time high, and now it just looks like to be consolidating a bit. I mean, a lot of this will be, depending on what happens to rates and whatnot, but I can't say a bad thing about it. Sorry, Dennis. I tried to get you another $2, and you missed out on 80.
Oh, well. It is what it is. Let's go to the movers from last night. We did TLRY already, but let's go Shoe Carnival because it's going in the opposite direction here this morning. SCVL showing the other shoe stores how to get it done. Up 14% here in the pre-market. They are partying at this Shoe Carnival here this morning.
Q2 EPS 76 cents versus a 55-cent estimate. Sales 268 million versus 264 million. Beats there on the top and the bottom line, raising their EPS guidance for the fiscal year. $1.90 was the estimate, or that was the original guidance. They raised that to $2.07. The fiscal year sales guidance was also raised by not as much as the EPS guidance was raised, but a nice 17-cent raise there for the fiscal year EPS guidance, and beats on the Q2 top and bottom line.
I'm going back 10 years on the chart. This is highs there. How far can you go back, Joel? Are we like?
I'm gonna look here. Boy, people are buying a lot of shoes. I know I bought a couple pair in the last couple weeks, but holy mackerel. It's the best I can do, Dennis. All-time high. This is
an all-time high for Shoe Carnival.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Where did this get to in the financial crisis in 2009? I'm looking at that chart you're showing out. Like $3?
303.
$3. Now it's 43. So you're talking about stock up like 1,200% since the bottom of the financial crisis. Not only that, last year or year and a half ago in 2017, almost exactly 1 year ago it was $15. The stock has almost tripled in the last year. You're chasing it now, folks. I think you're chasing it now. Does it continue? Does the party continue? It could, but I'm not putting my investment dollars in this. I'll tell you that much. And I'm going to I'll say it again. I think all these retailers, when I look at them a year from now, I think they're all lower. But as trades, got to go with the flow, I guess.
42.35. That's your pre-market high, but still hanging above 42 yet. So I won't be able to hook Dennis yet on any potential bets here. And Dennis, I talked with Spencer, and we have trouble keeping track of everything. So we're just going to go, you owe me one lunch.
Oh, I don't think you still owe me like 5 steak dinners, I think, Joel.
No.
It's 3, I think.
All right.
So many steak dinners you owe me. It's like you're buried in steak dinners. You're going to have to take out the second mortgage.
Omaha steaks.
Just because of all these steaks. I'm
going to get some of those Omaha steaks. All right.
Box last night. We didn't do box.
All right. BOX.
Not the D box, the box.
Yep. BOX, not DBOX. Q2 just EPS 5-cent loss. That beat the estimate by a penny. Sales 148 versus $146 million, so a 2-cent beat there. Q3 EPS guidance coming in light by 1 to 2 cents. 6-cent loss was the estimate. 7 to 8 is what they gave. Sales guidance for the current quarter. In line with the estimate. Fiscal year EPS guidance in line. Fiscal year sales guidance in line.
I don't know what to say here. I mean, part of me wants to buy the dip on this thing because it's a stock that seems to, when it shows, like it doesn't have life, it seems to bounce back a lot. We saw multiple times where the stock has sold off in the last 3 months and bounced back. Lots of, bottoms in the lower 24s. That's a point below here right now. It's not bouncing here either. I mean, it traded after hours last night in the lower 25s. It's still trading down here in the lower 25. So there isn't anybody really jumping in to buy this low here yet. So I think I just want to watch it a bit, but it's on the watch list for BTFD, which is, what.
Yeah, nice dip here. A couple green candles. Pre-market low 24.47. If you were concentrating on a couple lows that you had in just a couple weeks ago, 24.36 and 24.47. So I have to agree with you, getting a nice bounce. Let's see if we can get back over 26. That will be your resistance. That was actually 4 lows in a row right at that 26. So if you're looking for a big rebound, you got to clear those 4 lows. Someone was buying there. They may want to be selling now. And did DSW? Oh, no, what am I thinking? I was thinking we were still on Shoe Carnival. But BOX looks to be on the rebound.
And also last night reporting was HPE, which is the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, not the Hewlett-Packard, the Q. And so it's not the 3D printing stocks. It's the other business of it. This one's always been the laggard, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up here this morning. They announced, I think, a buyback there too. Spencer, HPE details, trade up 2%.
The Q3 EPS 44 cents versus a 37-cent estimate. Sales 7.8 versus $7.68 billion. So beats there. Q4 EPS guidance in line. Fiscal year EPS guidance higher by 4 to 9 cents there. They announced or they appointed Tarek Robiati as their new CEO, and that's what I got.
Dennis, did you see that pop to 1750?
No, that's a big pop.
Yeah,
lots of resistance up there.
Yeah. Now you pull back, and now you're starting a steady climb up 41 cents. What did you have here? You're breaking out here. I mean, we have not been over $17 in this stock. I mean, could this be it? No, you were back over 17 in May of this year. You had a high at 1782, but keep your first target on that pre-market high, 1750. Nice move into this, nice run up ahead of it, and looks like to continue buying this issue.
Okay, so let's go to this headline that is moving ROKU here this morning. ROKU is bouncing back slightly from the lows, but it's getting hit pretty hard here. Spencer, give us the details. This is getting Amazoned.
Yeah, it's getting Amazon a little bit this morning. So yesterday there was a report from the information that Amazon is in talks or considering, planning to add a new video app compatible, a free video app compatible with their Fire TV. This would be exclusive to the Fire TV hardware, which of course is a direct competitor to Roku, which is also hardware or built into to your hardware. So that's what's hitting Roku this morning is news of a free ad-supported video app on Amazon Fire TV.
Big pullback for a stock that is very loved here. I think there's probably buyers somewhere on this again because the stock is just so loved. And we saw stocks get Amazon before, and they seem to, when you look at them a couple of weeks later, they bounce back. So I don't know where the dust settles here. But the story is still there. You can't look at it from a valuation perspective. It's, I'm not talking investment standpoint. I'm talking just sentiment. And the sentiment towards the stock is still very good. So that makes me think that this is the one that has potential to bounce back. But it's tough to just come in here and say, okay, it's going to bounce at 60. People were trying it at 62 last night, 61 last night. Now it's 60. I mean, it's continued to leak here. Yes, it is off the lows. It got in the lower 59s earlier here this morning. But I don't know. Joel, you got me a level here. I'm interested in buying the dip on this, but where do you go?
Is this mobile? Or is this
Roku?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
thing that's in your TV, right?
Yeah, it's for your TV.
You see, this and people, I'm sure in the chat will have different opinions, but I mean, how much TV do you watch? How much TV do you watch on your phone? I mean,
fundamentals, this story is hot though. Like you can't argue the story. And if I get my algorithm, and then I'll let you finish your point. But
sure.
I've always given the algorithm, saying that what matters the most out of anything over fundamentals or everything else is the story. And as long as the story stays hot, the stock remains hot. It's when the story breaks, that's when you really see these collapses. And I don't know if the story is broken here yet. It's still a story. It's like the pot stock story. The story is hot right now. Does TLRY make any sense to be trading with the $5 or $6 billion market cap? Not fundamentally, no, hell no. But it's got a story right now. And the story is Diageo is going to come and invest, and we're going to have, pot, weed, beer, or whatever. But I mean, it's the same thing with Roku. It's got a good story right now. So the story, it's hard to fight the story.
Can I also offer a counter to Joel's point? It's not a question of how much TV you watch. It's a question of how much advertiser money is there in TV. There's a lot. This is going to be free. This new service will be free. It'll be supported by ads, and there is a lot of money to be spent by advertisers who want to advertise on streaming.
Do you watch a lot on your phone, Spencer? A lot of TV, a lot of
no. I don't watch any TV on my phone. I watch my TV on my TV.
Okay. All right. Well,
I watch a lot.
I'll go with Dennis' story here. I say 58.75 is your pre-market low. You're a buck away from that. So let's see if it coincides with anything here. Yeah, it does coincide with your August 23rd low at 58.84. So use that as support. Support is support. The uptrend is intact. I'm not going to argue with you guys. I guess a lot of people. We got to do IQ here. We've got 9 requests for IQ here, Dennis. And the stock.
It's only down 11 cents. Why so many?
I know.
Everybody just loves this stock. That Netflix of China. I made my money in this thing. I haven't been in it since. I do trade it though. I pair trade all these things against each other. HUYA, IQ, BILI, SOGO. HUYA, IQ, for whatever reason, they just track each other. So when I see like HUYA trading up 50 cents and IQ trading flat, I often buy IQ and short HUYA against it, and vice versa. And it's been working well for me. So I'm basically just trading these off of each other. And you can't always just do that. But, you got to, with pair trading, it's not just a matter of, one's up, the other one's going to go too. But just saying there's definitely a relationship there. And when there's relationships in the market, there's advantages and edges for those who obviously recognize the relationships. And IQ trades with all these other, and especially HUYA.
I tell you right now, it's having a nice steady climb here. What's the all-time high here? The all-time high was boom. The all-time high was 46.23. You had a breakdown to 25, so 21-point move. I mean, you might get up into the mid 35s, mid 36s here. I see a lot of major support here at the $28 level. So this, try it trailing up. It's obviously not going to have the same rip as it did before, but I would just look for, take out the previous highs, keep drifting higher, maybe get that 50% retracement here. I just want to take a look at the crude here.
Before you move on here, I got comments on this IQ, and I completely go against what you're saying here. You want to know why I would actually trade the bear side of this? And I think because BILI had pretty good numbers there yesterday. BILI ripped up $2. IQ, HUYA, all those stocks were trading up in sympathy, and they gave it all back. It's telling you there's overhead supply here. There is still sellers above. And I think if you use yesterday's highs as lean, I like them from the short side more than buy here. And that's the reason. And that's the relationship stuff. I mean, you can look at charts and that's one thing, but I put relationships much higher than looking at charts. And when a stock, that's in the sector BILI lifts them all and the sympathy ones all give it back, they can't even hold for a day. It's telling me there's still a lot of sellers in there. There's a lot of people who are just burned on IQ. I don't think it's coming back. I don't think we're ever seeing the 40s. Maybe I should never say never, but I don't think we're seeing the 46 anytime soon on IQ. I don't think we're seeing the $50 anytime soon on HUYA. These stocks have turned and the valuations aren't there. I mean, yes, China has bounced, but just a week and a half ago, they were selling all these stocks heavy. So as you bounce, it's just overhead supply. And I don't think these things are going to bounce back. And I don't think you're seeing IQ 35.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously your performance in this one is definitely a lot better than mine because I had some puts on the way up and covered them real too early. But good talking about relationships.
You gotta follow the old. What is it Jesse Livermore saying? It was be right and sit tight, wasn't it? That's from the reminiscences of a stock operator. Wasn't that the saying?
Oh man,
like that. Somebody tweeted it the other day. I was like, I remember that. It's like be right and sit tight. And that's what people can't do. They're often right, but they can't sit tight. And I mean, that's something I've struggled with for a long time too. I mean, every trader is going to struggle with this. Even when you're right, it's a matter of, sit tight. My AMD trade from a week and a half ago when I bought it, I was right. I should have sat tight. I didn't sit tight. Scalper blood got me, and I left a lot of money on the table. So be right and sit tight.
Okay, all right. AMD actually had a red candle yesterday, folks. I'm keeping this one up on my radar. Yesterday's low was 2404. Bounced off that. So I like to see it make, hold in this 24, make a couple lows in that area, and then if in fact it takes it out. But right now we'll see what happens. Sellers did step down from 27.30 to 26.18. So you had a lower high and a lower low and a lower close in AMD, and that's the first time you've had that in a long time.
Do we have a guest today?
Actually, do you want to have one at 8:50?
Why, are you offering? Who are we going to bring in?
I figured we haven't talked to Jeff in a while, and
let's
just
get his thoughts here. Is he getting it down dirty in the Bitcoin again?
Well, we've been going back and forth because I've been getting a little bit bullish, and he has a good opinion. So I told him 850 though, because we were kind of on the roll. Is that okay if we wait to 850 there, Spencer?
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's fine by me.
Okay, so we're on a roll here. Imbalances are small. I don't see anything really jump out at me, so I'm going to go to them. Square 35,000. You know what? Yeah, Square 35,000 buy. Let's go to the ratings here for a second. And this is not a ratings change, but this is a price target increase. Spencer, give us the details. Square is popping here to all-time highs here once again.
All right. Square is getting a buy from Guggenheim, raising their price target. Well, they're maintaining. They already had the buy. They're just maintaining that. Raising their price target to $100 and are naming the company their best new idea. So a price target raised from 75 to 100.
Way late to the party, but the stock is hot as hell right now. I am not fighting the tape on this one. It's up $1. It could go up more on this when you get Guggenheim's fairly influential. It's their best idea. I see it trading up $1 in the pre-market on this. I think it could go up even more on this, depending on what the overall market does. I mean, you always got to watch the overall market on these if you start to show some weakness, which we saw a little bit yesterday. These things can turn in a hurry. I mean, it is overextended here right now, $65 a month ago, but I can't argue with them. I mean, this thing just keeps going up. I wish I would have bought it back at 45, and it's here at 80. I thought about it, didn't pull the trigger. I've traded a lot of times. I love trading Square, but I've not stuck this in the investment portfolio, probably because, again, it doesn't fit my whole value stock criterion. But wow, what a move.
Jumped up on this. Did they talk about 100 today, Dennis, or was that a longer-term price target?
That was not.
I'm joking. I'm joking with you.
Yeah, we didn't. Neither me or Spencer.
No, I got it.
So it was a bad one.
I got it. I got it.
Harsh crowd. 82.33.
You got crickets.
Yep, 82.33 is your pre-market high, but it's hanging too close to there. Just hanging at 82. So once again, if they're chasing price, and this is still a good buy going straight to 100, make sure it goes through that pre-market high first, and that's 82.33. We do have a slow leak here in the S&Ps. Nothing alarming here. We're only down $1. I did see the GDP numbers, which came out, which maybe were a little bit stronger. So that maybe has the market thinking that interest rates are going to go up a little bit more. I really don't know, but we got a little bit of a leak going on here in the S&Ps. We're down $1 at 98.25. Nothing to worry about until we take out Tuesday's low at 94.25. That is the highest low the S&P's ever made. So I'm still going to give it a little more room. Potential double top, 29.05. That's your current high, 29.06. That was your all-time high made yesterday.
So, back to ratings land here. Let's talk Amazon.
Whew. Oh my. So we have a new street high price target. Morgan Stanley raising their price target from $1,850 to $2,500. They're maintaining their overweight rating, but $2,500 price target on Amazon.
This broke out. This is in breakout mode here now. This has 2,000 on the mind. I mean, it's going to pull back. It's going to have, little, every pullback on this thing seems like a buying opportunity. I think it's going to see $2,000, and soon. I think it's going to see $2,000, within, I think within the month. So, and that's not a bold call. This is only 45 points to go here, but Amazon here, it just, when they come this far, I got to think it's going to see $2,000.
Former all-time high was at 1941.78. And I believe that was made in yesterday's session. So that's what you need for a gap fill. You did find someone that was willing to sell the stock at 1962.40. That's $8 away. But keep an eye on that. That's your pre-market high and its march towards 2000.
And also so let's just go to the straight up ratings here. And we got some interesting ones here. We got RACE, RACE, which is stock we don't give a lot of love. We get a lot of love to Tesla. We don't give a lot of love to Ferrari, and it's coming back. Getting upgraded here this morning at HSBC. Remember, this is already trading actively over there in Europe, I believe. So that's why you're seeing a tighter market on it. 132.86 is the bid right now. It's up $3. Quick technicals on RACE, cool ticker symbol.
They took it up in the pre-market trading to 133.33. Light volume here. You're not trading the primary market. On the daily charts, really no resistance to talk about till you get closer to 134, 135. There's some highs that you had at the beginning of August, but just remember you're not trading the primary market.
And jump over to RCL, which is getting an upgrade at Deutsche Bank this morning. Stock is trading up 2 points here. We haven't talked to cruise lines in a while, too, but they've slowly been coming back. I mean, they kind of move with the airlines. The airlines have been hot, too. I mean, LUV is up 10 points in the last month and a half. And, it's one of the slower movers.
People traveling, yep.
Yeah, stocks like SAVE, SAVE, went from 36 to 47, just quietly. All the love that everything else gets. These cruise stocks, too. RCL is $105 here. Just actually off the earnings report at the beginning of the month, it kissed 105. Now $122. Caribbean, Carnival, CCL, and NCLH both having pretty good months as well. Here's your technicals, RCL, as they get the upgrade from Deutsche Bank.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a lot of volume trading here in this, but just 101 shares just traded in the last bracket. But you can't argue with price trading at the highs of the pre-market session, 122.77. That takes out the high that you had just a few days ago. So maybe go to your monthlies here, and on your monthly charts, you have to go back and look and see what happened in April. You probably have some daily highs between 120.73 and 127.45. But to me, it's up on light volume here. We don't know if any real sellers are going to come in on this one.
Pair trade in Canada for you Canadian listeners out there. Canaccord is up. Is it Canaccord? I can't read my own writing. Was it Canaccord here, Spencer, with Bank of Nova Scotia and Bank of Montreal?
I was going to say,
I literally have a C and a bunch of scribbles. I think.
I think it was if I'm memory.
I think it was Canaccord, but my writing. If I could show you this, holy cow! Well, anyways, the writing is absolutely chicken scratch. I can't read my own writing on this one. I believe it says Canaccord, and I wrote it like an hour ago. Bank of Nova Scotia, they are downgrading, and Bank of Montreal, they are upgrading. I own both of these stocks in my investment portfolio. In Canada, there's basically the big five, but they say it's the big six banks in Canada, and I pretty much own them all, either directly or indirectly. But Bank of Montreal is still one of my biggest positions because my wife worked there for a decade. I still have all our employee stock and stuff, and obviously you get the discount when you're doing the employee purchase plan. So loved that when she was there. Bank of Nova Scotia, I just bought recently actually because it pulled back its BNS, and I just saw valuation. It was trading 10 times. Gives you a little dividend there too, I think of 4%. So kind of like both of those on valuation still.
I just look at this. I know there was upgrade and a downgrade. The BNS has a double top here. If it goes in the rally mode off the upgrade, it's
downgraded though.
That's downgraded. Okay,
yeah, that was the downgraded one.
Okay. I mean, this stock has really been holding 59.50. Did it take that out? Yeah, it took out 59.50. Still trading within yesterday's range. If you are trading this, you want to see it go green at 59.44, but not seeing any real good support just on the daily charts until 58.46. That was your August 17th low.
And remember, when you're looking at Canadian stocks, is currency effects when you're looking on a U.S. chart. It's sometimes nice to go look at a clean chart and go look at it in Canadian dollars, because a lot of times what you see on a U.S. chart is often currency effects. And we are seeing the Canadian dollar show a little bit of life here the last week. So that can obviously impact the price on the U.S. basis as well. So if you want to look at a cleaner chart, go look at it in Canada.
Oh, yeah. The Canadian dollar's had a little bit of a rally there.
A little bit. A little bit of life.
Okay. All right. Moving right.
845. If you want to move away from ratings, we've got a lot of other stocks we could talk here too. But is there somewhere you were thinking? CRM reports tonight. I kind of wanted to preview that one, and it's trading up here in the pre-market as well. You want to talk Salesforce.com?
Well, it rallied yesterday ahead of the report, correct?
Yeah, and I often play these. I actually bought it overnight, but then I ended up selling it last night. So I bought it at the close because I'm like, often they're bid up ahead of the reports. It is bid up here this morning, but I actually got bid up last night ahead of the report, so I didn't even take it overnight. I ended up selling it after hours last night. It's actually up further here this morning. So again, that alpha being extracted from buying stocks ahead of their event, that often works. It's a pretty good strategy. I used it for a lot of years. CRM, trade up, pre-market.
Yeah, 153.83 up 84 cents here. Trading above yesterday's high, so you want to see it hold 153.40. If you're looking perhaps to lighten up ahead of the all-time high, ahead of the report, that comes in at 154.88, and that was your high on Monday.
TSCO Road in our chat here wants to know if the bull run is going to continue. I haven't talked the stock for a while, haven't looked at it for a while. It actually looks like it's pulling back significantly from the highs just set 3 days ago. So it looks like there's some holes in that thesis here right now. But if you take your 50% retracement of the move that just happened from 80 to basically 90, you might find some support in the 85 area here. It has been on a hell of a run here, though.
Yeah.
This is a big move. It's very overextended. It started this move back in the beginning of the summer in April at 60, now to 90. It just feels overextended.
If I'm trying to protect profits in here, you did have a low yesterday at 85.18. That's the lowest low since August 22nd. So you did get a little bit of a rebound up to 85.98, but you have closed lower in the last 3 sessions. You've made lower lows in the last 3 sessions or 2 sessions and lower highs in the last couple sessions. So not a favorable trend. Keeping an eye in order to maintain those gains above yesterday's low of 85.18.
Let's go. We want to go with 848 here, unless you got something, Spencer. We could go grab Jeff here and let's talk a little bit of Bitcoin and crypto.
Okay. All right. We're a couple minutes early, but he's a pretty punctual guy here.
Oh, is he going to yell at us for being a minute early?
Oh, he will never raise his voice.
He's good. Jeff's great.
Yep. Jeff Goldman. He is an author. He's my athletic trainer, though I've taken a couple of weeks off because I'm swimming a lot this summer. What's the name of his book again, Spencer?
First of all, do you want me to call him right now, or are we taking him?
Yes.
Call him. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, we're calling him right now. I didn't realize that.
We'll pump his book, too. Joel and I are in it.
All right. His book is Failed Traders, the 20 Common Mistakes Committed by
Joel and I are in it because failed traders.
The 20 common mistakes committed by over 1,000 losing traders. So you guys are both in there.
We're one of the 1,000.
Oh, that's really funny. I guess I never made that connection.
Maybe I shouldn't advertise on them in that book.
All right. A lot of books.
I wrote it. What did we write? You wrote a chapter, and I think I wrote 2 chapters actually.
I think I wrote the foreword on that too.
Oh, you wrote the foreword.
Yep. Right. Are we dialing him there, Spencer?
We're trying to dial Jeff in the background here. Let's see if
I want to know if he's getting down and dirty in this Bitcoin rally here recently.
He's going to be very tempered. He's going to be very tempered here.
Last time he was on the show, he was out. He was like, "Nah, I'm sticking out." But then he's like, "But he's watching it still." So I don't know if he's getting interested again.
Jeff, you with us?
Hello, I am.
All right, we got Joel and Dennis here, and they say you're going to be very tempered on our show.
Tempered
what am I going to be?
Tempered on Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin rally here.
Tempered in terms of what?
Like how high, is it going to go? Is it going to be, we're going to have another run to 20,000?
Okay.
If it's a trading vehicle, is it going to crash under 6,000 and go to 4,000? Okay. That's what I was referring to. Because I tried a couple weeks ago. I tried to pump you up and get bullish there and tell you the volume was coming in. You said you were long, but you weren't looking for the sky.
That's exactly where I'm at now.
Okay, are you in? Are you back dipping your toes in there on Bitcoin?
I dip my toes. Am I on right now?
Yeah, you're live. Yeah, we're live. Sorry, we're early. This isn't even we're live. We brought you in right here. You're hot mic right now. So
I didn't know that. I was just doing a little prep here.
Hot mic alert. Yeah. Hot mic alert.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been buying for the last few weeks. I love the 6,000 level in terms of a floor here and some really good support. And do I think it's going to go to 20,000? No. Do I think it's going to go to 10,000? Yeah, maybe. But I'd like to see it get to that 82, 85 level first. And I'm in small. You know, I keep my money, you know, in Coinbase just to jump back in, jump back out. I bought some Ethereum last week. Actually, it's been 2 weeks ago on that classic hammer on August 13th. I bought some there, but I flipped it out 2 days later. Again, strictly trading vehicle, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
100%
mean,
trading vehicle.
You know, with the ETFs getting turned down and everything, you thought that might that might put a little crimp in it. I mean, who needs more ETFs? You know, kind of shrug.
We don't have a Bitcoin ETF. I mean, if they approve that, and that's the whole bull thesis here, really, right now. I think, you know, they keep rejecting it, but if that eventually gets approval, and, you know, you start getting, you know, investment dollars coming from that, we've seen what ETFs have done for, you know, FANG and for a lot of, you know, obviously the guns there. I mean, I've argued before that a lot of these, you know, stocks like Amazon, Netflix, you know, continue to find bids underneath because every time a new ETF comes out, new money piles into these things. I mean, that's the stocks you're putting in these new ETFs. So I think if it was to get an ETF, I think it would help the price of all these cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, if that's the one. But what are your thoughts here? Do you think you were going to see an ETF here, or this is just going to be too hard to regulate and the SEC is never going to approve it?
So I have sort of a different take. I don't know if they're going to do that. They might eventually do it, but it's actually funny that if it takes an ETF for the price of Bitcoin to go up, that means Bitcoin as the underlying security has been a total failure. So you know, there's 4 reasons that everybody, and I think I said this on the show before, there's 4 reasons that everybody loved the technology of Bitcoin. That was decentralized, that you could buy with anonymity, that it's a store of value, and that it could be an underlying, you know, currency and to use to buy and sell goods. All 4 of those have been a complete failure. And if it takes, now again, great trading vehicle that will probably drive money into Bitcoin as an ETF. But if you really think about it, that if that's what it takes to get the price up, Bitcoin is a total failure.
It should be able to go up on its own merits. It shouldn't need an ETF.
It should be able to go up on its own. And everyone keeps talking, we need the ETF, we need the ETF. That's going to do it. But people don't look at the big picture. So are they going to get an ETF? I don't know. I mean, they keep rejecting them. If they do one, there's going to be 12 of them. And, you know, maybe they do. They obviously did the futures, which was a huge deal. So, you know, why not an ETF if they did the futures?
What about the blockchain technology? I mean, it's separate from Bitcoin. I mean, have you been, that's what's going to come out of this is the blockchain. Have you, have you been studying any blockchain stocks, or do you think that there's, you wait for the big boys to come in? No, nothing there.
No, I mean, yeah, obviously the blockchain technology is incredible, and a lot of big companies are starting projects. IBM's obviously behind it a lot, but yeah, you have to separate the two. You definitely have to separate the two. And yeah, the technology is great. It's probably 3-5 years out in the future before we start seeing some real mainstream applications. But you have to separate it from the Bitcoin itself.
Okay.
As great as a technology it is, the Bitcoin at this point has not done what people have said it's going to do.
Jeff, I just want to, and I saw this on CNBC the other day. I think it was BK Brian Kelly saying it, and he was just arguing that this thing could just go back to 20,000. We saw it go from 6,000 to 20,000, in a month and a half, that it could do it again. I mean, I will argue all day against Brian Kelly on this point, because the reason it can't do that easily now is because there's a pain trade up there. Everybody bought it. Everybody's underwater, on this thing from 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 14,000. All those people who bought that thing are hoping like hell to get it back up to get their money back. I mean, that's why, things can go up through an area when it's never been there before with a lot more ease than it can when it's already been up there and there's a pain trade up there. So give me your thoughts first. Does my argument have water? And then secondly, you were arguing, about, potential 10,000. Do you see that, being the reason why it could struggle to do that?
Yes, that's definitely the case. And that's, classic technical analysis in terms of resistance. But for me, the big thing is the futures. I mean, it was so hard. It went up so far because you couldn't short it. You could on some obscure exchanges, but now with the futures, so it's so easy to short. Now the real, the euphoria, the people that are like, this is so stupid. Why is this thing at 10,000? Should be at 300. Can come in and really short these things, and just they're cash settled, so you don't have to go get the Bitcoin. That's the reason. That's the reason it will probably, I don't want to say never, because, never say never. But in my opinion, the futures market, which everyone got so excited about that, oh my God, we have futures, actually turned back around and actually bit everybody in the butt, because that's what's keeping the price down. It's a check and balance.
I mean, it's a good point you're making there, because the futures, Joel, it came out right around the same time Bitcoin topped, did it not? Like within like a few weeks of that.
Oh, I mean, when did we do the Bitcoin special? With Joe Saluzzi and the professor on, and Jeff, and I think that was the absolute top.
I think it was.
I think we topped it.
We topped it.
We topped it. All right, we've been on the line with Jeff Goldman. He's the author of Failed Traders. He's a Bitcoin trader, been in it for a long time, trading both sides on it with a tempered outlook. Jeff, great speaking with you, and I have to call you, and we'll have to talk some college football just right around the corner.
Let's do it. Go Notre Dame.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he says he cheers for Michigan, but when they're not playing state, we'll see what happens. I'll take 7 points. Later. I'll take 7 points all day long. All right. So here we are. S&Ps are down a half a point. Did we get any news on AMD? Because I thought that it was trading. I see it traded down 56 cents, but I guess it's kind of been a little bit of a steady trickle here. Yeah. Nothing major.
It was trading down a bit last night as well, and it seems like whatever AMD does after hours, it follows through more in the pre-market there. I mean, you just had a classic upside capitulation. This thing went from 20 to 27.30 in a week. It was up 25% in a week. And now you're seeing the classic profit taking on it. And you saw, the reversal that day where it got up to 27.30, end up closing 2 points off the highs. That was a tell that the high was probably in. And even yesterday, we were talking on the show, was trading up. And we were talking that, just looking at it from the charts, it's hard to short it. But at the same time, that candle kind of gave you an out. So it did get up to 26 and change yesterday. I mean, I think the easy money on the long side has been made on this now. Now you get into a situation where there's some people who chased this and got burned a little bit. So it's going to have to do some work again. Just as we saw back in July, not saying it can't go higher, just saying in July you had this big move from 16 to 20. And then it had to come off, and it did some work for a month before it could start to go higher again. That's what I think it has to do. It's got to do some work here again before it can potentially go higher. So, and in the meantime, it could actually come lower here. So as of right now, I think the path of least resistance is actually lower for AMD.
Yeah, some profit taking. I did mention yesterday's low at 24.04. See if the bulls can defend that. If not, your next daily low drops off all the way to 22.67. All right, Dennis, let's wrap things up here. We got about 30 seconds to go. We're traded just slightly in the red here, half a point. Or the bulls just gonna pick up the baton at the opening bell here and take us right through that all-time high?
They have every day. We saw a little bit of weakness at least yesterday for once. It's been pretty much raging bull here for the last, 2 weeks anyways. We got up and, obviously yesterday we opened up near the highs and we really didn't go anywhere. It was the first day. So maybe we take a breather. Maybe we take a pause. Is the bulls, derailed here? I don't think so. I think we continue to move higher here on the overall market. I think there's going to be lots of stocks, there's lots of things to pick up the slack, even if you show some weakness in some of the leaders there. But I'm not getting off the bull train. I still think probably buying the dip is probably still the play here. So do we have a pause? Do we have a small down day in the cards? Probably soon, but I think the bull thesis is still very much intact.
All right, that's about it for our show today. Looking ahead this afternoon, earnings after the bell, PVH, Guess. We mentioned Salesforce as well. Those are the top three I'm going to be watching after the close today. But that is our show. Thanks to Jeff Goldman, who stopped by for a few minutes. Thanks to all of you who joined us in our chat rooms on premarket.benzinga.com and youtube.com/Benzinga TV. Want to remind all of you that all the information from our show is for informational purposes only and not meant to be investing advice. If you missed any part of our show, catch our podcast. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Google Play Store, or just go to YouTube and rewatch the show as it aired there. Once again, thanks so much for listening. Hope you all had a good rest of your day, and hope you guys join us on Thursday.